basically Volhard's method is indirect or back titration method. So what do I mean by that? Suppose let us take the same example. My analyte is sodium chloride solution and my titrant is silver nitrate solution. Okay. Generally in direct titrations, we take analyte in the conical flask and our titrant in the burette. But in case of indirect or back titration, what we are going to do is we will place excess of titrant in the conical flask itself. So I will tell you what we are going to do. I will be taking NaCl solution, which is my analyte, and I will be adding excess of AgNO3 in the conical flask itself. Now what will happen? The sodium chloride will react with the AgNO3 in the conical flask itself, and the reaction will be somewhat like this. NaCl reacts with AgNO3 to give me AgCl PPT, right? Now once all the chloride ions are reacted with AgNO3, as the silver nitrate is in excess, some amount will be remaining in the conical flask. This remaining silver nitrate we are going to titrate using thiocyanate ions. So either use potassium thiocyanate or ammonium thiocyanate solution as your titrant, and this will react with remaining AgNO3. So how the reaction will take place? This remaining AgNO3 after complete reaction with analyte, remaining AgNO3 now reacts with thiocyanate solution to give me silver thiocyanate PPT. Now this silver thiocyanate PPT is also reddish brown in color. So at the first point I am going to get a colored PPT, but now how I will come to know that the reaction is over, all the remaining silver nitrate is finished, is reacted with the thiocyanate. So I have to use an indicator. So which indicator I will be using? I will be using ferric ions. So in the form of ferric nitrate or ferric ammonium sulfate. So ferric ions Fe+3, they'll act as indicator, and what will happen is once all the remaining silver nitrate is also completely reacted, the excess drop of thiocyanate will now react with the indicator ion to form a complex ion like this, ferric thiocyanate +2. So this complex which is formed is a soluble complex, and it gives the solution reddish color, reddish brown color. Now reddish brown color is imparted to the entire solution. It is not that we are seeing formation of colored PPT. It is the entire solution is getting colored in the reddish brown shade. So by that I will come to know that okay, now the entire content in the conical flask is finished, and my titrant, in this case thiocyanate ions, are now reacting with the indicator ion. So I will stop the knob of the burette and I will come to know that okay, the end point is reached. So this is how we are going to detect the end point by Volhard's method. Now it is very essential to discuss a few points related to this. Now in Volhard's method, as we said in the Mohr's method, the reaction is carried out in neutral to slightly basic medium. But in case of Volhard's method, the reaction is carried out in acidic medium. And how we are going to achieve it? We will be adding free nitric acid during the titration, which will maintain my levels in the acidic level. Now I can easily carry out the reactions of chloride, bromide, iodides as well as thiocyanates using the Volhard's method. Now but there is a limitation which we have to mention here. See, what happens is, now you know the sequence of events. First, my analyte has to react with the silver nitrate. Once all the analyte is reacted, silver nitrate which is remaining reacts with thiocyanate. And then once all the remaining silver nitrate is finished, the thiocyanate is supposed to react with the indicator. Now the problem here is the thiocyanate which falls down after the reaction of silver thiocyanate formation, which is supposed to react with indicator ions, might react with the AgCl PPT present over here. Now this AgCl PPT is already formed in the first step. After the second step, instead of going to react with indicator ions, the thiocyanate ions prefer to react with the AgCl PPT to form silver thiocyanate, and chloride ions are set free. Now what will happen? When my thiocyanate was supposed to give the color, the end point, and I was supposed to close the knob of the burette, instead of reacting with the indicator, it is reacting with someone else. So it gives me higher reading than the actual reading, means a titration error is introduced. And now I have to remove this error, otherwise the entire titration is failed. So what I can do is, first I will completely react the analyte with my silver nitrate, excess of silver nitrate. Once the silver nitrate precipitation is complete, I will boil the solution for 2 to 3 minutes. Now why it is essential? Because silver chloride PPT is example of colloidal PPT. Now colloidal PPT has a particular tendency to adsorb its own ions which are in excess. Now whenever there is the titration going on, there are excess of AgNO3 present. So Ag plus ions are lying around in excess. So this AgCl PPT adsorbs the Ag plus ions, and they in turn adsorb the oppositely charged ion. This layer is called as primary adsorption layer, and the another layer which it will adsorb, a negatively charged layer, it will be called as a secondary adsorption layer. So this AgCl PPT is already it has been adsorbed the silver ions. So first I want to dissolve them. So I will boil the solution. Once I boil the solution, what will happen is these Ag plus ions will be dissolved and AgCl PPT will be freed. After boiling, when all the desorption has been occurred, I will filter the solution. Now after filtration, AgCl PPT will be removed from the solution. Now I will cool the solution, and I will continue the titration, continue the back titration. The remaining amount of AgNO3 which is there in the solution will now react with thiocyanate, and as there is no silver chloride PPT present because it has been removed through filtration, the thiocyanate will now ultimately react with the indicator ion because it doesn't have the AgCl PPT to react with. So this is one way by which we can carry out the titration, but it is a tedious task, right? It increases the steps in the titration. So are there any more feasible ways? Then yes, what we can do is we can add a coagulant. So a coagulant like potassium nitrate can be added with the solution itself. Now when a coagulant is added, what it does is it actually prevents the adsorption of silver ions on the AgCl PPT. The coagulant reacts with AgCl PPT and makes it immobile. So now the AgCl PPT, first place, it does not adsorb any silver ions, and secondly, as it is in combination with the coagulant, it is now not available for the reaction with thiocyanate ions. So once it is formed, it gets engaged with the coagulant, and hence it is actually protected from this side reaction, unwanted reaction. So this is another way. Third way what we can do is, instead of the coagulant, we can add some immiscible liquid like nitrobenzene, which will coat the silver chloride PPT. Now once it is coated with an immiscible liquid, it is again protected, and hence it cannot react with the thiocyanate ions and give this unwanted reaction. So just by incorporating a coagulant or an immiscible liquid like nitrobenzene, we can actually achieve the same result which we can achieve through filtration. But as filtration is a slightly tedious process, we can opt for these two methods where we are using coagulant or the immiscible liquid. So this is a slight modification in the Volhard's method, where we can achieve the same endpoint in single step without the need of filtration. This is referred as modified Volhard's method. So this is how we are going to carry out the endpoint detection by Volhard's method. So this method is actually very effective for titrating all kind of halide ions. The problem with iodides in the Mohr's method is also overcome, and with slight modifications we can overcome the inherent problems in the Volhard's method itself. So it is a good method to consider for detection of endpoint in precipitation titration.